Human and Lunar Elven Gods. The humans lost their monolatrous deity, and the broken Saren abandoned the Lunar Elves, simultaneously to the Delathon's ascension. The scramble was on for who would have which worshippers, for though each god controls entire solar systems, due to the historical importance of that planet, the worship of a Cristoan is highly sought after. The gods assembled at Persh to decide what to do. While gods could interact with their worshippers and others' worshippers, they could not reveal themselves to these humans or lunar elves who did not yet pledge themselves to a god. It was decided that the humans and the elves had to sort of guess the nature of a divinity, and if they correctly guessed the nature of a god or pantheon, then that god or pantheon could reveal themselves to them and demand an elaborate, culture-wide conversion ceremony in which these would be their worshippers. Thus, the worship of a god for these people does not come from the god creating this culture or race, but from this culture producing prophets and philosophers that debated the nature of the gods they should worship. This would only end when one of them finally got their facts correct and convinced their kin to follow suit, or was introduced to this religion by an outsider. Then again, theological debate never ends, does it? The Dingar rose to prominence amongst what is now the nations of Sumer and Numeria. They even once had full control over all of Shinar, but now Jacob's descendants look only to Yahweh, whilst the Maghrebian Arabs look to Allah, and soon only to him. The Dingar are a complex pantheon with many gods, which take on forms in addition to aspects. Aspects are shared among all gods, but now certain aspects are more closely related to each other and are considered a form of the aspect, a different function almost. These forms are also not quite the same aspect, as their myths are completely different. While we can see this is the case for all the gods, like the Spartan versus Athenian Artemis, this is most plain to see with the Dingar. The most popular of the Dingar gods are Enlil, Marduk, and Anahita, in her forms Ishara, Tanit, Inanna, Ishtar, and Ashera, Atharat, Ninlil. In the Apennine Strip, which later would contain the most important city, Rome, the Tuski demanded worship. The Tuski have a large variety of gods, but the core is Jupiter and Juno, who is an aspect of Tanit, who is a form of Anahita. They are the parents of Mars and Minerva, and their sister is Vesta. Janus, a two-faced god with no relation to the rest, is an integral part of the Tuski and Roman cult practices. All of Vitalia will soon come to follow Christ, in some way or another. The people of Kumat would come to worship the Copts, who were stationed there during that war. In the lands of Iran, Bactria, and Berat, the Aryan pantheon reigned. Now Berat follows the Vedas. Most Iranians now follow Zoroaster's god, Ormuzd, though some follow Zervan, yet others Ahriman. The elves of Iran shall be Muslim. In Bactria they shall worship the gods of Thania Bactria, following the dictates of their Kushansha, Kidara. In Sinai, the lunar elves completely forsook the gods. In Drogul, the lunar elves and their blood elf aristocracy shall still worship the Saren, but instead of the Wanderer, they shall worship the dragons and read the four Vedas. In Nanyang and Tamilakam, they follow the Vedic gods, despite being human. Nanyang will put special emphasis on Siddhartha Gautama, while embarking in all manners of pagan spirit worship. In Nihon, they will follow the Shinto pantheon. In Samhan, they will follow Mugyo, but they will revere Tathagata. In the steppe, the peoples here will worship Tengri, who is sometimes called Kram, and his pantheon. Many will follow Gichi Manitao. He goes by many names and has many aspects, like Kashela Makonk. The Nehina and Ojibwe will follow Gichi Manitao. The Siksikai Tipitapi follow the aspect Apistotoke. The Cheyenne will follow the aspect Mahio. The Osatai Sakowin follow the Lokotan pantheon, led by the aspect Wankantanka. The Chalagi will worship directly Unetlanvi, a non-anthropomorphic aspect. The Haudenosaunee worship the aspect Hagwandiu. The Inde and the Dine will follow him. The Great Basin people follow his aspect Tam Apo. Zarahemla's case is special and will be discussed elsewhere. The Tlingit will convert to Artio away from Ifa, and then realign with the second iteration of the Saren. The Chinook will abandon Ifa and worship spirits. Originally, RTO protects their souls, but then later, the Morrigan will fulfill this task. Mkumbu will find worshippers amongst the Zulu and Zimbabwe. The Edo people will convert to Orisha worship. In Kanem, the people will worship spirits until they hear the light of Islam. In Kitara, the elves still remain loyal to the Saren, but religion is not that important to them. That is, until the day they shall hear the words of the Quran. In Skanza, they will worship the Asur and Vanir gods. Yavadvipa will find religion among the Vedas, the Buddha, Sunni Islam, and the Nverba pantheon. The ancestors of the Nahuatl, Terran elves, will beg the Citlalin for protection from the blood flood. Kaukutliku will take pity on them and turn them into fish and termites so that they might survive. It will only be in 1408, forced slave of the Third Dusk, that they will be turned back. The Maya people, who are a mix of human and lunar elf, will come to follow the Citlalin. The Mixtec, who are elves ruled by hobgoblins, and the Zapotec, who are humans ruled by hobgoblins, will also follow this pantheon. They all follow this pantheon in different ways, though. Sometimes the divergence is so great that these people don't even acknowledge the same members. But then again, even within a given culture group, worship appears different to different people. The ancestors of the Hohokam worshipped Vanth. The Syrinx, whose nemesis is the devil Mara, gathered the most worshippers. They did not acquire them until the Fourth Age, supplanting many pagan ways. They are prominent in Haik, Akimza, Congo, Thrax, and all Vol. Haik will not totally displace Zoroastrianism and paganism, and in all of these areas, especially Argon and Gondar, there will be a very strong cult of Mara. The ancestors of the Hellenes will mix with orcs, and they shall all worship the Olympians. Let us be clear, there are migrations, ethnogeneses, and cultural shifts. The peoples of the First Age are certainly not the same ethnicity as the people who follow them millions of years later.